Hello everybody, my name is Xanady109 and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be building a base in Minecraft. But my friends got to pick the blocks that I use. That's right, I messaged a couple of my friends via text and Discord and such, and my friends have selected a variety of blocks that I have to use to build this base. We're going to get into the blocks that I'm going to be using. As you can see, I've messaged a couple of my friends to get what blocks to use for this build, and now we're going to look at all of them. These are the blocks we have to use: sponge, magenta glazed terracotta, bedrock, blackstone, deep slate, grindstones, lodestones, waxed, exposed, cut copper stairs, and purple wool. One quick rule before we start off: I will allow myself to use other blocks other than those. I have to use all the blocks mentioned, but I am going to let myself use other blocks for detailing and for other things like that, just to make the build look a little bit better. Alright, let's get into the Minecraft world and let's start building. Okay, so to begin, we're going to come down here and we're just going to plan out a little bit of our palette for what we're going to do with this. Now, a lot of the blocks, the bedrock, the blackstone, the deep slate, lodestone, and grindstone, they're all kind of on a gray color scale, so we're going to use those together. And then the purple wool and magenta glazed terracotta we're going to use together since they're similar colors. However, the sponge and the copper stair, it's going to be a little bit harder to figure out what to do with. But I'm going to figure that out. And once I have the base of the structure done, I'll come back in and I'll show you guys. Alright, so I've laid out the foundation of the build with purple wool. We're not going to use purple for the foundation, but I just use that to lay it out. So now we're going to begin putting the walls up on the first floor, which I'm going to incorporate the blackstone, bedrock, and deep slate in. Is sort of a gradient going up from the blackstone to the bedrock and then into the deep slate. I think this will work pretty well for the bottom, especially if we kind of blend it in a little, use the blackstone sparingly. I think that'll work pretty well. So I'll come back in once I have that finished and some details added to the base. And by the way, when I say deep slate and blackstone, I am going to allow myself to use all of the variants of deep slate and blackstones, like the bricks and all of that. I'm going to use those in the build for some extra texture and block variety, just so it's not as the structure isn't as crammed, and it'll help the texture a little bit more. So we're gonna use all that in the build. Again, I'll be back once this is done. Alright, so now that we have the base of the building and the foundation set up with the wooden detailing around, obviously, our blackstone our deep slate, and our bedrock, which were 3 of the blocks that I had to use, according to my friends. We are now going to move on to building the second layer, which is going to incorporate our magenta glazed terracotta and our purple wool. As you can see in my hotbar, I've kind of set up a gradient going all the way from purple wool over to magenta glazed terracotta. And so we're going to set that up on this floor, and that's how that's going to look. Alright, so I've got the walls in, and right now it doesn't look good at all. The budding amethyst blocks are growing crystals on the side of my building, and that doesn't look very good. But we're going to do what we did with the bottom and go in and add a bunch of detailing to this and hopefully make it look a lot better. Alright, now that we've got the second, or the main story of the building completed, with all the detailing added in, the next and final step to finishing this build off is going to be the roof. Which, if we come down here and look at the blocks we have left to use that my friends gave me, we have the sponge and the waxed exposed cut copper stairs. Now we're going to use these as well as bamboo, stripped bamboo block and bamboo mosaic stairs, and we're going to build and finish off the roof of the building. Alright, so now we have the roof on, which goes from our waxed exposed cut copper into our bamboo and our sponge. That's how I incorporated the sponge into this build. Now, there's nothing in here or in here above the walls. Why is there a polar bear there? And below the roof. So I'm thinking we take the magenta terracotta and we transition it into cherry wood all the way up to incorporate some of the blocks from this biome. I think that'll look cool. So let's do that really quick. Alright, so now we have the main outside finished. I put a door in down there so you can get into the building. But there are 2 blocks left that were suggested to me to use that we haven't used yet. The lodestone and the grindstone, which they don't really have an easy place to go in this build. But I have an idea. We're going to come up here and punch a hole out. And I think that we can use these for a chimney. It might not look the best at first, but I think that just something simple like this, and there we go. The chimney. Now, I'm going to switch all but the top layer of this out for something else. And there we go. We have the lodestone and the grindstone incorporated into the build. This now has all of the blocks that we were told to use by my friends to build, and I think that it looks pretty darn good for the blocks that I had to work with. I really like this build, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below whether or not you think we should do the interior. Because if people want me to do the interior, I'll walk you guys through my process of doing interior in this house. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!